Jack? I have had enough of you fooling around out here. Stop trying to act like it's a good thing to be single at your age and find a woman you can actually stay married to. And once you find that woman, you make her bring me a grandbaby. If you could just try a little harder to find someone, you could become a very good husband and father, right? All you are right now is a complete embarrassment to me.
I think asking Jasmine to bring you that grandbaby would be a lot more effective, Mom. And those two already took fertility tests and the results came back saying that they are both good to go.
I understand that, but that has nothing to do with you. What I'm trying to tell you right now is that it's embarrassing to have my oldest son grow up single and with no kids.
But Mom, I already told you I don't plan on getting married anymore.
Huh? You're going on about that again? Then what's going to happen to me getting my grandbaby?
And that's why I said, you won't be getting a grandbaby from me, okay? I've been to the doctor about it already and they said it's better for me to just look past wanting kids based on the very low chance I have of getting someone pregnant. I even tried bringing up adoption as an option, but you budged in, saying that it was the wife's fault for not bringing in any kids. And you still wonder why she left me after all that crap you gave her, for something that's not anyone's fault but my own. Why is it so hard for you to accept the truth, Mom? You literally do anything but accept the truth, and that includes hurting those who aren't even at fault. If I had to give you a reason why I'm not married now and never will be again, I'd say it has to do with you always getting in the way.
You're going on about that again as well?
If you don't want to hear about it again, then stop making me bring it up. The fact that you always come to me about not having any kids and not having anyone to love is why I always go back and bring up the reasons why. It's driving me nuts.
Well, listen, Jack. You don't have to cover for that ex of yours being infertile anymore, because you've already divorced her and she means nothing to us anymore, right?
Jesus Christ, Mom! I'm not lying about it to protect her. I'm being serious when I say that I'm the one that's infertile. I even showed you the test results from the clinic, right?
Well, anyway, I'm not going to allow you to stay single. The only way you're going to continue staying a man in my family is by getting yourself another wife and making some kids with her. That's what all men need to do, and you're no exception.
Please stop with all this, Mom. At this point, you continue to go in circles about this. It's just wasting everyone's time.
Jack!
I have an early morning tomorrow, so good night.
I've had enough sitting here waiting. You must be planning to surprise me with something, right?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about that penthouse you have. You must have bought that recently, right?
Huh?
When I went into your apartment earlier, I saw the papers on that place lying on your computer.
You've gone and created yet another duplicate key to my place without my permission? Are you still not able to get it into your head that it's because of crap like you that you've caused my last relationship to flounder and force me to divorce my wife? I can't believe you right now, Mom.
Well, you're my son, and I think I have the right to have access to your apartment. So when are you going to be able to introduce me to that new wife of yours?
Seriously?
The penthouse I saw in those papers lying in your apartment show that it has 3 bedrooms and a very spacious kitchen, so there must be a good reason for you buying it, right? What kind of woman is the girl you're with right now? Is she the kind of woman that can actually get pregnant and birth some children?
It was after you bought that penthouse that you made my relationship with my ex-wife impossible and I had to divorce her.
Huh?
It's been over a year now since I bought that penthouse. After the divorce, I've been dealing with a lot of personal things, and I still have work and that to deal with as well, so I haven't had time to move into the place or anything yet.
Huh? What the? Can you stop trying to upset me right now? But if that's really the case with you, that penthouse doesn't belong to someone who's single and has no plan to have a family, right?
Huh?
Well, listen, your sister has gotten pregnant.
Oh, is that so? Tomorrow I'll send her a text telling her congrats.
Well, what I'm trying to say is that I want you to give that penthouse to your sister and her husband.
What?
Right now, your sister is living in a small apartment with her husband that only has 1 bedroom and 1 bathroom in it. Right now, the place is decent for those two, but the moment they have their first baby, they're going to need more space to work with. You can understand that, right?
Well, yeah, I understand that.
Then please give that place to your sister.
Stop being ridiculous, Mom. I'm planning to move into that place real soon, and starting this week I plan to get my things packed up and ready to go.
Having a place as big as that all to yourself is far too greedy.
Why is that greedy? Also, this place wasn't even gonna be mine in the first place after the divorce, but I was able to get it after much talk with my ex about how much I planned on using it. You have no right telling me to give it away after you almost made me lose it once already.
You are far too old now to be saying such selfish garbage.
How am I being selfish right now?
Are we finished here, Jack? I'm tired of having to fight you all the time on stuff like this. That place is too big for you and would be perfect for your sister, her husband, and her soon-to-be-born baby. And me. Having a place that open for the 4 of us to live in would be perfect.
Hold on a minute. It seems to me like the conditions have changed, and you just made it look as though you plan to live with them in the penthouse.
And what's wrong with me wanting that?
Have you ever even spoken with either of them yet about your plan?
There's no reason for me to talk with them about it now.
Well, if they need a house that's bigger than the apartment they're in, then the normal thing to do would be to move into a bigger place, or have a new place built for their needs, right? And I believe that both of us have heard already from her husband that he plans on having a place of his own built for the family, instead of moving into an already built home, right? Even if I did want to give them my penthouse, they probably don't need it.
I've had enough of this talk. Just give them the dang penthouse. If you continue to keep saying no to what your own mother is asking you, then I'll have to disown you.
Really?
But if you give them that place, then we can all go on with our lives again as normal. You don't want me cutting ties to you, right?
Actually, I don't care if you do or don't.
Right? You know just as well as I do that we don't want that.
Huh? Wait, that's not what I meant.
Yeah. You can stop trying to talk your way out of all this now. I am looking forward to moving into that place and having so much room to work with while raising my grandbaby.
That's not what I meant.
Well, since that's what's going to happen soon, I need to start preparing my things as well to move into that place.
Go and do what you'd like, Mom. But don't come back to me when things aren't what they seemed.
Jack! Why are you living in this penthouse right now? You were supposed to have given your sister this place so that her family and I could live here without you.
How do you know about me moving out of my old apartment?
I went to your previous apartment to come see it, and the man living next door to your place told me that you moved out. And when he said that to me, I went right to the building that the penthouse is located in, and I can see that you're in there right now. But when I ran after you as you opened the door, you slammed it in my face before I could come inside.
Well, luckily there's a really fast auto lock on the door that kicked in right before you turned the handle. And if you don't have the key to that lock, you can't get in.
Well, then hand that key over to me right now, Jack. I went to your apartment today looking for that key after all, so now that I've had to run all the way here after you moved in without letting me know, I'm getting that key.
So you went into that apartment again without my permission, huh? Thank God I moved out of there before you started to have one of these fits again.
You don't have any plans to get married again, right?
That's right. All I'm thinking about now is living as a bachelor for the rest of my life.
Then hurry up and get the hell out of there. That penthouse is far too good for some half-cooked man like you who doesn't plan to have a wife or kids.
Well, I'm planning on making this place into my office and this studio as well.
Huh? Making it into an office?
For a long time now, I've been doing this sort of work as a sort of side hustle, and now I'm thinking of focusing on it full-time. And as of right now, I've been working with a friend of mine on merging our businesses and making a larger company.
And so what? That sort of stuff has nothing to do with that penthouse.
Well, that friend that I'm working with had plans to get married next year, and then move into a place close to his penthouse. But right now his partner is overseas for work, and he's all alone over here. So the plan is to have him stay in this penthouse with me for the next year until his woman returns and they get married.
What the heck? Why did you make all of those plans without me?
Because this is my penthouse, and since it's mine, I can do what I want with it.
But I told you that if you don't want to be disowned, you have to give that place over to your sister so that her family can move into there. You can look back in our texts and see exactly what I told you. I said for you to give the penthouse to her, and that you don't want me cutting ties with you, right? And you replied by saying you don't care if I do or don't.
Yeah, and that meant that I don't care what you do about your relationship with me. In other words, go ahead and disown me.
Huh?
You can go back into our messages and see what I told you. You're mistaking what I said, and that it wasn't what you thought it meant, right?
What? You're kidding, right?
I wanted to make things more clear for you, but you wouldn't stop talking, and told me to stop talking about it anytime I try to speak, so I gave up on it. And honestly, I'm totally okay with you cutting your ties to me, and that's why I stopped caring about you having a misunderstanding about what I said.
What the heck? Then what should I do now?
Go back to your own house and stay quiet from now on?
But I already moved ahead and sold my place.
Is that right?
What the hell is up with you acting like that's got nothing to do with you?
Well, you're cutting ties to me now, right?
No, I don't think so.
Are we done here? I have some things that I need to get back to, and I can see that you have nothing left to say to me that I care to hear. Bye.
Wait a second. What the heck am I going to do? Jack? Hey.
What do you want? What could you possibly want with me now?
Hey, do you know where your sister ran off to?
Huh? Why are you asking me where she's gone? All I know about her is that her husband and her moved back closer to his hometown because there would he be closer to his job.
Huh? They moved even further away. That town is almost 4 hours away from here.
Before those two even got married, they were talking about how before they even had a kid, they'd move back into his hometown where he'd be closer to his job and be in a better place to raise the kids. The only reason why he was working around here for a little while in the first place is because the company he works for is owned by his dad, and he was asked to start helping with the starting of a new office in town. But they agreed that once his wife became pregnant, he could go back to his old office closer to his hometown and have his kid there.
What?
And it's getting pretty close to the due date for that baby, so they decided to move back to his hometown before she had the baby and is all tired out.
Well, why did I never hear anything about this from them?
It's because you're a reckless woman, so we all decided to keep their move a secret from you so you couldn't do anything crazy to them.
Huh? I'm reckless?
You made a huge deal about having me give up on my penthouse and handing it over to my sister so that her and her husband could have their baby there and you could live there with them as well. They also knew about how I bought this place before my divorce and that you were the reason my wife ended up leaving me. And if all that wasn't enough, you were causing a crap ton of stress for her by always trying to control everything she planned to do with the baby, as though it was gonna be your baby somehow. Well, anyway, there's a whole bunch of reasons that began to pile up, and that's why they both chose to move out of town without telling you.
What the heck? Does she not want me around to help her in raising her baby when it's born? Did she forget who raised her to become the perfect woman she is now?
And as far as we're concerned, it was Dad that raised the both of us into the people we are now.
Huh?
Dad was the one making the money in the house for all of us to live on, and he was also the one that did the most cooking and cleaning in the house. You were a housewife, but you ended up slacking off quite a lot.
Wait a second.
Also, it's been 2 years now since you left the house to live on your own away from Dad because you didn't want him to listen to you asking all the time to do the chores, right? Well, he's told me that he plans to divorce you now since you're never going back to him.
But if he leaves me, how am I going to make any money?
No, I'm not, because you told me you'd disown me and cut ties with me.
But you are my son, so you should be able to do something about this, please.
I think we're pretty much done here, right? I'm a very busy man now, and I got things I gotta get back to. Can you make sure to never talk to me again?
Jack!
Now I'm gonna get back to work. Goodbye forever. After her and I had our final conversation, my mom came running back to my penthouse door and continued to hang around it for hours and hours. But after a while of hearing her constant knocking around my penthouse door and the building itself, others in the building began to become suspicious of her and called the police on her. They came just at the time I wasn't around, so she couldn't get me to come and help her, meaning the police put her in their car and drove her to the nearest station. After she was let out of the police station the following day, she proceeded to start heading back to the building my penthouse was in, only to be stopped by my dad, who told her that he heard about everything and would be sending her to my older brother's business outside the state. There she would work for him and make some money to support herself, while also being too far away to do anything about me and the rest of my family. Her brother operates a logging business, so the location she'll be working at is far in the mountains and forests, where it takes almost a day to get to by buggy or truck. So because of her being so remote, I can feel a sense of relief knowing she'll never make it back here again. And of course, this meant that Dad was able to divorce her as well. I hope that now she's lost pretty much everything in her immediate family, and she'll begin to make a new family out there in the middle of nowhere cutting wood all day with all those other loggers. And I'm sure that unlike us, those loggers won't even let her get away with a second of that reckless attitude she had with us.
How long are you planning on being a freeloader? At least think about how Mom and Dad feel.
What?
Leeching off our parents at your age? No job, just living off their generosity? It's unbelievable. Don't you feel ashamed?
Wait a minute. Gracie, what are you talking about? Why are you calling me a freeloader?
I heard it from Mom the other day. You quit your job, right? And you've barely left the house in the past 6 months.
Huh? I quit my job?
Not just that. You're even asking Mom for an allowance. It's so pathetic that I want to cry. How can you so casually burden Mom and Dad like that?
Gracie, I think you're mistaken. I didn't quit my job and I'm not freeloading. Also, I've never asked Mom and Dad for an allowance.
Don't lie. Mom told me everything. I can't take it anymore. It's too hard living with her. She called me crying because we live so far from each other.
What?
Listen, this is your final warning. If you plan to continue mooching off them, I'll take things into my own hands. I will not let you have your way on this. I'll protect Mom and Dad.
I haven't done anything wrong. So what exactly are you gonna do?
If you've got time to talk back like that, you have time to find a job. You're in your mid-30s. Stop being such a burden.
Mom? What's going on? Why did you lie to Gracie about me being a freeloader?
I didn't lie. It's a fact that you're freeloading. You don't go to work and you're shut in all morning till night. How is that working?
I do remote work. I told you that, remember? I can work on my PC without going into the office. I'm in my room all day because I'm working.
You always come up with such nonsense. You have quite the nerve to lie to your parents like that. You were actually laid off. We know the truth.
What? I was laid off?
Yes, that's right. You haven't been doing remote work. You were fired, weren't you? I heard from the neighbors. Your company had mass layoffs 6 months ago, which is the same time you started staying at home.
So, you think I'm lying and hiding that I was fired?
It's the explanation I can think of. Your story would be too much of a coincidence. Come on, Faith. It's time to come clean with the truth. You're not really working from home. You have no job, right?
Mom, this is all a misunderstanding. Yes, there were layoffs, but that was in a different department. Nobody in my department was let go.
A different department?
Yes, in fact, the whole fiasco led to a review of the working style. That's why remote work was introduced at the same time.
Then tell me why you're taking money from us every month. You're an unemployed deadbeat with no money. I won't let you fool your father and I with your lies any longer.
Stop claiming I'm taking your money. I'm just getting back the money I previously lent you.
Huh?
You haven't been paying me back and the deadline has long passed. Since I'm at home all day, I found out that you often skip your part-time job. Dad retired early and is saving on social security checks, but he's living beyond his means. That's why I'm so insistent on getting the money back. I actually think I'm being generous by only asking for $300 a month.
What? When you lend money, you should consider it gone. Isn't that what they say? We're family. You shouldn't expect a repayment.
What?
And you're just now wanting the money back? You must have gotten worried after losing your job, right? That's why you're trying to squeeze money out of us, isn't it?
You're being very arrogant. And you made up some story about the money I'm taking back actually being some kind of allowance. You need to stop playing the victim.
Shut up! Just hurry and find a job and stop taking money from us. What do you think we sent you to college for?
Mom.
Outside of school, you've always been useless. I thought your finishing college and finding a job would pay off. But in the end, you just get laid off, become a freeloader, and a parasite living off your parents. We shouldn't have let you go to college even when you begged us on your knees.
Even though you were against it, I'm grateful you let me go to college. After I got a job, I lived at home and contributed a lot to your living expenses, right? I gave both of you my entire bonus, didn't I? So why are you saying such horrible things?
You should be doing that anyway. Don't act like you're doing us any favors by doing the bare minimum.
What?
On top of that, you keep nagging me about paying you back. We sent you to college, but you end up a basement dweller. I'm really disappointed in how you turned out. I should have kicked you out a long time ago. I should never have let you stay at home after getting a job.
That's very harsh, Mom. When I got a job offer in Tokyo, you withdrew my application without my permission. You said you wouldn't allow me to leave. How can you say that after how much you interfered with my life?
Shut up, you useless nerd! You've been pathetic since you were little. Your sister Gracie, on the other hand, was always a thoughtful and wonderful girl. Now she's married and never causes any problems for us. She even offered to let your dad and I move in with her.
Gracie has always been very good to you. You and Dad spoiled her with attention since she was little. That's why she's so considerate of you two.
Well, I give you at least some love as well, huh? You're unattractive, unsociable, nerdy, and not at all cute. But I raised you properly, didn't I?
How can you talk like that to your own daughter? How can you say you gave me love?
If you want to feel more loved, then find a job. That's all you're good for, you nerd. And stop taking money from us seriously, or we'll kick you out. How are you feeling right about now? How does it feel to see an empty house?
I don't understand what's going on. Why can't I get in the house? My stuff's outside.
I sold the family house. You can't live there anymore. If you don't find a job, you're going to be homeless.
You sold Mom and Dad's house? But what about Mom and Dad? What are they gonna do now?
No need to worry. They'll live with my husband and I. Looks like you're going to be homeless.
What?
Mom and Dad don't want to support a freeloader anymore. My husband and I just happened to be buying a house at the same time. It's a nice two-family home, so there will be plenty of room.
I haven't heard anything about this. I didn't know I was being kicked out today or anything about you guys moving in together.
Of course we didn't tell you on purpose. We intended to leave you behind. There's no room for you at the new place.
Huh?
Who'd want to live with someone without a job? If you want to live like that, you should live alone. An adult like you shouldn't be causing trouble for your parents.
Listen, Gracie, you may have heard some things from Mom, but it's all a misunderstanding. I'm not a deadbeat, and I do have a job.
I don't want to hear your excuses. I honestly don't care anymore. I wanted to live with Mom and Dad as soon as possible. You being such a leech actually worked out perfectly for us.
What? You wanted to live with them?
For financial reasons, to be honest. It's hard to buy a home around here with the property values constantly rising. But Mom and Dad will probably help out since we're living together. Plus, they will probably help out around the house and with the kids. Killing two birds with one stone.
You say you can't forgive me for mooching off Mom and Dad, but aren't you doing the same thing?
Even if we both rely on them, they'd be happier living with my husband and I. They've always loved me more than you.
What did Mom and Dad say? Are they really willing to help out with the cost of raising your kids?
Well, I haven't asked them directly.
Huh?
Well, letting them live with us. It should be assumed without having to say anything. They've always spent a lot of money on me. I imagine they at least help out with the loan.
That's true, they paid for most of your wedding and honeymoon after all.
They prefer me over an ungrateful bookworm like you. Good luck with the homeless life. They live with me now. You just have to survive on your own.
Fine. Goodbye.
Don't ever get involved with us again. I don't want to be associated with the deadbeat.
No, it's all good. They have zero savings, so good luck taking care of them.
What?
I won't help out whatsoever. As you wished, I'll just disappear. Please take care of Mom and Dad.
Wait a minute. What do you mean? Mom and Dad have zero savings? That can't be true. They had enough money to support your freeloading ass, right? They paid for my wedding.
What if I told you it was me who actually paid for all of that?
You mean for my wedding and honeymoon expenses?
That's right. Remember when Mom and Dad gave you that fat wad of cash? Well, that was actually all the money they took from me.
What?
Well, technically, I lent it to them, but they practically forced me to give it to them. They claimed they were broke after sending me to college, so I had to pay.
Is that true?
They're really selfish people, Gracie. In the end, they only paid for my first year. I had to get by on student loans after that. They're only struggling now because they slack off by not going to their part-time jobs. They basically wasted all their money.
What?
They don't believe I actually have a remote job either. All I did was ask for my money back. But they play the victim, complaining to you that I'm a jobless parasite asking for an allowance. I'm just sick of it.
Wait. Hold on. So you're really not mooching off of them?
I don't really care what everyone thinks at this point. Anyway, I need to find a place to live. Take good care of Mom and Dad.
No, that's not okay. Wait! Faith! I was expecting Mom and Dad to help us out, but now you're telling me they have zero savings? There's no benefit in living with them now.
But isn't there? You saved them from having to live with their despised daughter. Doesn't that make it worth living with them?
No, that's not what I meant at all.
But you sold the family home, right? Surely you have some money from that.
Yes, but it's not nearly enough. I thought they had a lot of money saved up. I mean, I thought they were completely supporting you for 6 months. I thought they had a ton of savings, but you're saying they have almost nothing?
Yep. Well, it's really none of my business at this point.
Hey, Faith. I'll sell you the family home as a special offer right now, but you have to pay upfront in cash.
Huh? Why me? I've already rented a place. I don't need the house. Why don't you just ask our real estate agent to handle it?
The house won't sell. That's why I'm asking you to buy it.
Really?
I don't know why, but it won't sell. We're only asking for $500,000, but nobody's buying, even though it's a bargain. The realtor keeps asking me to lower the price.
What part of that is a bargain? The price is outrageous.
I beg your pardon?
The house is over 60 years old. Plus, we haven't properly maintained it. The roof and decks are falling apart. There's no way you can sell a house like that for $500,000.
But the location is good, right?
Well, the hospital's nearby, so it's great for older people. But the schools in the neighborhood have really bad ratings. And it's way too close to the airport. No one's gonna buy an old house like that in such a location for $500,000.
But you're working remotely, right? If you're really working, you should just buy it. The location doesn't matter if you don't have to commute and you don't have kids, so the schools don't matter.
Like I said, I've already rented a place. There's no way I'll move back there. My new gated apartment is great. It's in a gated community.
A gated community? You live in a nice place like that by yourself?
I wanted to try living in a nice place at least once. I was gonna move out after getting a job, but you made me live with you. So I'm finally able to make one of my dreams come true.
So you really won't buy it? If you buy it now, I'll sell it to you for $300,000. Please buy the house. We're having a hard time here.
Because Gracie asked you to help her buy that huge house.
Well, if you knew the whole situation, it would be easier to understand. I didn't know your father and I would have to pay the mortgage and living expenses. But suddenly, we're being asked to pay $1,000 a month on top of living expenses. So please, Faith, buy your family home.
I wouldn't even take it for $300,000.
What?
Anyway, I hope all of you enjoy living together. I'm sure you'll be happier with Gracie than your freeloading daughter.
Take Mom and Dad away from me right now. There's no point in living together if they don't have any money. You're living in a gated community, right? Just let them live with you.
I don't want to do that if they don't have any money. Why don't you make them get jobs? They could work part-time or something.
Neither of them want to work. They use not knowing the area as an excuse. On top of that, they're demanding money for watching the kids all day. They want childcare fees. Can you believe that?
You should just pay him.
No way! That makes no sense. Why should we be robbed of our hard-earned money?
Just think of it as your daughter. Like duty and do your best. Look, I'm not in contact with either of them, so you gotta be the one to support them now.
You have got to be kidding me. Don't make dumb excuses like that.
But I was cut off from the family, was I not?
Shut up! I don't care. Just give us some money. If you're not going to take Mom and Dad, at least help support us.
I honestly wish you would shut up. You told me to never get involved with you again. I'm just gonna delete your contact info. Mom and Dad's too. That way you can't bother me with this nonsense ever again.
Huh? Wait a minute. Are you seriously walking away from us?
Apparently, I'm just a useless nerd who only studies. I can't imagine a situation where I'd actually be appreciated by any of you. Send Mom and Dad my regards. So, yeah, things got pretty crazy after that. I mean, who would have thought, right? Gracie had this whole plan going on with her husband. She managed to convince him that buying the house was a good idea by saying, "My parents will help pay for it." Classic Gracie move, right? But here's the kicker. Our parents had like zero savings, so they couldn't even help with the loan, let alone living expenses. So Gracie's husband got seriously ticked off. I heard him yelling stuff like, "This is not what we agreed on!" It sounds like they're on the edge of divorce now, which, let's be honest, would just make things even more of a mess for all of us living there. Predictably, Mom and Dad started freaking out. They finally grabbed some part-time jobs. I guess the reality check hit them hard. You could practically feel the tension in the air every time they were all in the same room. Gracie, Mom, and Dad are funneling most of their earnings into paying off the loan now. I mean, it's a lot of strain on everyone, and you can tell they're all feeling it. But you know what? I decided to take matters into my own hands. I hired a lawyer to help me get back the money Mom and Dad owed me. Yeah, that's right. The money they swiped when they sold the family house. I can't wait to see their faces when they get that letter from the lawyer. It's been a wild ride, but I'm ready to see this whole mess sorted out once and for all.